I have anxiety talking about this. Again, I could cry thinking about it because, oh my gosh, are these hormones? I don't know. Sometimes you just feel really alone and then you hear someone else vocalize what you're going through and then you're like, wow. To be vulnerable and transparent, it's probably my least favorite thing out of the whole process. I literally screamed, God, help me. The next thing I want to talk about is your marriage changing when you have a baby. Motherhood is one of the most amazing things that I have ever done. If you're not interceding for your family, no one will. You've got to be the praying rock for your family, and it will make a difference. Being a mom is really hard. And until you're a mom, you don't fully realize everything that it entails and how difficult it can be and how taxing it is on your body. And there's so many things that I never understood until I became a mom. But at the same time, there's so much beauty in it. There's so much goodness. Like I have seen God completely reveal himself to me throughout this whole process, and also myself change in a way that I never imagined. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is the journey of motherhood and postpartum. If you are new here, my name is Janine Amapola Ward. I post every single Tuesday. This is a Christian podcast, and I just love sitting down with you guys, giving you guys advice, and also just being vulnerable and sharing with you guys things that I'm going through because let's be honest, we all go through things. We all struggle. We all face things, and sometimes you just feel really alone, and then you hear someone else vocalize what you're going through, and then you're like, wow. I did not know someone else was going through that. And so today we're going to be talking exclusively just about motherhood and postpartum. And I am 5 months postpartum. And part of the reason why I didn't do an episode on motherhood, like exclusively in a while, is I felt like I was kind of alienating a lot of my audience because there aren't a lot of moms on here. There's still a lot of people going through singleness and all of that. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I should still talk about it because I know I still have a lot of moms. And I went on my Instagram and I just asked you guys, hey, what do you want to see more of and less of? And honestly, thank you for the feedback because I've been struggling and I really want to always make sure that I'm giving you guys the content that you want and things that you actually want to hear. And most of the DMs and most of the comments on there were motherhood. And so that is what I'm going to be talking about today. And I want to make sure I'm giving you guys what you want to hear. So buckle up. Let's get into it. I wrote down a couple things I want to talk about from postpartum to breastfeeding journey, real struggles, comparison, getting nothing done, needing help, and it also changing your marriage. And it just does that. And so let's get into it. And I'm just praying I say this well and clearly, and I don't regret anything I say. All right, let's do it. All right, I have a fall candle going. I am not someone that wants to decorate for Christmas on November 1st. Like, honestly, this is one thing I actually want to talk about because this is not even like a judgment or anything to anybody. But I've noticed, and let me know if you feel this way. I've noticed that when I became a mom, I just simply didn't care about a lot of things anymore. It's so weird. Every fall, like fall is literally my favorite season. I would go all out. I mean, spending hours decorating, you guys. Hours. Like I literally would spend days just decorating, shopping for, getting everything ready. This year, I kid you not, I put out 3 little pumpkins in my house that I had from last year, and that was my fall this year. And it's kind of weird because it's so not like me, but I just realized I don't have time. I don't have time to decorate. I didn't have really the energy. And it's weird. I don't know if y'all felt this way, but as a mom, I just started to not necessarily care as much. I'm not saying that's going to be forever. I just felt like at least this year, I just was like, I don't have energy to do it this year. And that's so not like me. And I just was like, when do I have time? Like I have a baby who needs me. And so I think that's one thing in motherhood so far that's been definitely different because I used to care about a lot of things, maybe too much or to a fault. And the more that I become a mom, the less I care about things. It won't always be like that. And I think it's because I'm still trying to figure out how to balance this. And maybe I'll never have it perfectly balanced because that's what they say. It's like, don't always try to feel like you can balance everything because the reality is you can't. So Christmas is coming up and I felt like I saw everyone post on November 1st Christmas stuff. And I was like, whoa, like we move these timelines so much quicker and sooner. And it almost feels exhausting. Like it feels like you have to play catch up 24/7. And especially as a mom, you're like, I don't have time to like decorate and go shopping and buy all these new things. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to do any of that. I have to buy some more things this year because our house is bigger and I have more space to fill. But I just felt even like a little flustered of like, oh my gosh, social media makes you feel like as a mom, you're already so behind. And everyone makes you feel like you're so behind. I'm like, oh, should I have decorated on November 1st? Should I have already gotten decorations? Should I like, it feels like everything like moves so fast that you feel like you just can't catch up. And so if you're in that same boat, just know like I'm right there with you. Like, it's not realistic. And also like, you don't have to decorate on November 1st. I, for one, love to decorate maybe like the day after Thanksgiving. Like, that's when I'm like, I'm in the mood. I'll probably decorate a little bit earlier this year. We'll see. But I have to decorate more this year in my house. And so if I'm going to decorate that much, I might as well have it up for like at least a month and a half. Anyway, tangent. So postpartum. I am 5 months postpartum and I love being a mom. Duke is starting to finally sleep through the night, like as of this week. Not even sleep through the night, but like wake up once. And I got a sleep coach. Game changer, game changer, game changer. I would struggle with this on my Instagram because every day I would wake up and I would kind of give like a rating on how the night went before, and I would share, guys, I did really good this night and like Duke was great. And then the other day, maybe I'd wake up and be like, y'all, I got no sleep. So I almost felt like I was worried because I was like, am I complaining too much? Because I know that that's the reality of being a parent. Is like they told me when I was pregnant, say goodbye to, your sleep, say goodbye to it. And it's just kind of sad because like you hear people say these things to you, like say goodbye to ever sleeping and say goodbye to me time and take it all the time you want of showering and getting ready because you won't get it again. And honestly, those phrases and things are just not helpful. It's kind of like, don't fearmonger people and don't scare them and don't like try to make someone feel bad for something that's inevitably going to come. And I'm so sick of the just wait or just take advantage. It's like, I'll do that when I need to do it. Great. But please don't like scare other moms out of it. And it is hard. It's a reality. Like, I understand people were trying to like warn me, but also it's annoying when it's like unsolicited. You know what I mean? Like with my best friends and stuff that had kids before me, if I wanted the real stuff, like I would be like, tell me, how is it? Like, how's breastfeeding? How's this? They would tell me that, But if I'm not asking for it, like it's just not helpful. And so that's something that definitely is still hard and it's just now getting better is the sleep. Yeah, Duke is now, we've only done this for 2 days, so I don't know how well this is going to last, but he's now waking up only once a night at 4 a.m. I'm feeding him and then he sleeps until 8:30 and he goes to bed around 9:10. It's been great. I feel like I'm back. Like, I feel like you don't know how much a lack of sleep affects you until it's gone. The last time I didn't really like get sleep and like was kind of like, just like, yeah, I'll party till 3 a.m. Not really party till 3 a.m., but like just up all night was college. In college, I pulled all-nighters all the time. I was the queen of procrastination. I would start homework at midnight. Like, who does that? Me. And that was probably the last time I can think of where like I didn't get sleep, but you're built for it at that age. Like when you're 19 and 20, like your body can do it. I'm 31 now. Like I cannot do that. It affects my skin, my mood, y'all, my hair. Right now, my hair is struggling. Like it's actually very hard for me to talk about because it's very sad when I look in the mirror and I pull my hair back. I just see clumps of it coming out. And you may look at me and be like, I don't see what you're talking about. No, trust me, it is there. My hair is thinner, it's finer. I'm starting to bald right here, which I know is all part of the process. I'm in the shower and just strands are falling out. It's thin, it feels fragile, it feels dry, it feels brittle. I just finished, I'm like a month and a half into Nutrafol, and they say it takes 3 months to see full results. And I'm like, okay, like, please, I need the results. And I'm doing hair serums, all the things. I know it takes time, but it's hard. Like, it's hard for that not to wear on your insecurities almost. So wear on like, man, like, where's the old Janine that I used to know? And I used to have like very thick, full, fluffy hair. And I don't know what happened, but in the last like couple years, it's gotten thinner and finer. And my hair gets greasy in like a day. Like I'll wake up and this thing is greasy. I have to shower almost every other day now. And I don't like that. And so the hair thing is definitely hard because like as a woman, you love your hair. You love to style it. It's like this confident booster that's just like built into your head. And so when you don't have that, it hits you. Like you feel like, whoa, this is so not me. And I think that's been really hard is like, I will try these hairstyles on TikTok. I'm like, I want to try that. And my hair just doesn't do it. It doesn't look cute and it's not working. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go rock the down hair look again or try to, I don't know. Like it's even got to the point where like, I'm embarrassed to say this. I bought this thing and it like patches up like bald spots in your head with like color. It doesn't look good, so I stopped using it, but I tried it just to see if it would work. It didn't really work. Because I was like, I gotta try something. And I know it's all part of the process, but you can't help but feel like, man, like this is taking a toll on my body. So that's why like taking prenatals and postnatals or postpartum natals is so, so important. Like I'm taking Ritual right now and I was taking Parallel, both amazing brands, because no one warned me that postpartum would be more difficult and heavy on my body than pregnancy. Like to me, I look back and I'm like, pregnancy was a walk in the park, even though it wasn't. I mean, totally had a lot of symptoms and struggles. But this like wears on me, like the lack of sleep, the hair, the boobs hurting, the breast pain, not like when I haven't gotten mastitis, but there's been times where I've had, oh my goodness, the pain in my boobs, like for maybe not going and pumping enough. That's been really hard. That and like having to like get rid of that pain and like massage it out. Oh, that's so hard. The lack of sleep, that's the hardest part personally for me because I mean, who doesn't need sleep? We all need sleep. We all thrive on sleep. I just find that it makes me irritable and I can't function and I can't think straight and I'm still trying to work and, manage my team and all these things. And I just feel like I'm like short-tempered and it's hard because I don't like the person that I am. And they say that postpartum is like up to a year, which I'm like, oh my gosh, we got a lot more time then. Because I'm only 5 months postpartum, which I do feel like I'm doing a lot better. Like I'm not as scared anymore. Things don't feel as scary. Like leaving the house, it's like great. Like I leave the house, it's fine. But I don't feel like my emotions are maybe fully there. Even though I don't feel as cuckoo as I was before, but I still feel like I'm more irritable and short-tempered. And yesterday, for example, when I talk about like needing God, that yesterday, prime example of when I needed the Lord. I was like, Lord, if you don't do this, I don't know what's going to work. Like I was so stressed. So I had a full work day and I don't have help right now. Like my mother-in-law's here today. She comes once a week, but I actually don't have help right now. So some things changed. And so I'm doing this fully by myself again, besides my mother-in-law coming once a week. And thank God she's here today so I can film a podcast. So I'm trying to balance work and being a mom at the same time, trying to work out, cooking, cleaning, all the things. Kaleb, of course, helps me where he can, but he is in the midst of finals. And so he's been in like the craziest season of his life. And I'm also trying to like help him through his hardest season of his life too. And I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm bringing Duke to the daycare because thankfully at the gym we get 2 hours of daycare if that's available. So I had like an hour and a half at daycare. I am scrambling to get all my work done. My team is texting me like, hey, we're missing 3 things from you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to squeeze this in nap times. Duke was not napping more than 30 minutes. I was like, this is like, I literally got an hour to myself that whole day and was like, oh my sweet baby Jesus, like I need more time. I need time to shower. I need time to get ready. I had barely eaten all day. My milk supply was dipping because if I don't eat, your milk supply dips. Duke was hungry. He's screaming. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to feed you, but I don't have enough milk. So then I started supplementing with formula because didn't have enough milk. I'm running late to the gym because I was behind on a campaign I was supposed to film. I'm trying to get dressed. I'm literally pumping as I'm in the car. Duke is screaming in the back seat. I'm running late. Also, oh my gosh, this was the cherry on top. So I'm driving to the gym. I still don't know my way around Oklahoma. Like I still use my Google Maps for literally everything because I don't know my way around. I'm running late. And all of a sudden, the GPS just stops working on my Google Maps. I'm like, what the heck? My little pin, like my car logo, whatever it is, it's just stuck in the same spot. And I'm like, wait, when did the GPS stop working? I didn't realize it stopped working, so I missed my exit. And I'm like driving and I'm like frantic. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Oh my gosh. So I like quickly exit. I try to like pivot and U-turn and I'm like, okay, where am I going? I am just trying. And when you're driving and like the last thing you want to be doing is on your phone because it's just dangerous. It's not smart. So I'm trying to like close out the app and like trying to get my GPS to start working again and reopening Google Maps, not working. GPS, it's like no signal from GPS. I'm like, what? When did you decide just to stop working? So I'm like running in circles. I'm driving in circles. I'm running lane. I'm like, I don't know where the heck I'm going. Duke is literally screaming in the backseat, which as a mom too, when you can't be back there consoling your baby, giving them the pacifier, taking care of them, like you're driving there, it's like the anxiety you feel of like not being able to go back there and console your baby, love your baby, take care of them, be like, it's okay. Like I was trying, I'm sweating. And also you're already overstimulated because like the pumps are like just sucking the life out of you because I'm pumping as I'm driving because I wanted to make sure I had a bottle for him at the daycare. So I'm just like, you know what? I just got to figure out where I'm going because the GPS does not work on any of my things. Waze, Apple Maps, Google. I'm like, ah. So literally I get to the gym. I finally figured out how to get there. I'm running like 7 minutes late. I call the gym. I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm coming because if you are too late, they strike your account. They'll give you, if you get too many strikes, you can't check in your baby for the next like 2 weeks. Which I'm like, give a mom a break. And I finally get there, take my pumps out. I'm trying to pour it into the bottle. One of my dang pumps, and this is the most frustrating thing as a mom, one of my dang pumps spilled all the milk in my car. Oh, and that broke me. That sent me over the edge. Spilled milk all over my car. And they say don't cry over spilled milk. No. When you are a mom and you are pumping and you already have a low supply, yes, I'm going to cry over spilled milk. And so it's like all in my car. It's starting to stink up the car because if you spill milk in your car and it sits in there for a while, it is stinky. And so I'm like trying to clean it up at the same time, all while Duke is still screaming. And I literally screamed. Like I was like, God, help me. Like I'm not even kidding. I was like, God, help me. It was like that moment where like, it just felt like everything was going wrong at the same time. And I was so flustered, dripping in sweat because it was also like 80 degrees outside because it got hot again. And I just needed to like take a moment and I was just like, God, help me. And then I calmed down and I was like, okay, I took a breath. I took Duke out. I got my milk. I was like, everything's okay. I got to him in time. And then I just had a moment where I just sat there at the gym by myself and I was just like, okay, we're okay. We're okay. Whew. Have you ever had a moment like that? Like that was like old time anxiety for me, old time stress. And it was just like, whoa, like it gave me so much more respect for moms because I feel like that's one thing that I've had to learn in this whole process is just being able to like regulate my emotions, calm down, take a breath, because they say that your kids will kind of like inherit your emotions and if you're calm and also the way you were during pregnancy. And so I try to like pride myself in the sense that like I can take a beat, I can handle things under pressure, I can be calm. If things are stressful, I can be like, it's okay, everything's okay. That was a moment where I did not handle it well. Like I did not at all, let's be honest. But I want to make sure that I can still do that because, your kids are going to also watch the way you handle stress and like adapt that. And so, or adopt that. And I didn't want to do that in front of Duke. And so I don't know. That was a moment where I just broke and I was like, God, I need you. But it's just crazy because the next day I was reading scripture and I'm going through the book of Psalms. And if you're reading the November Bible Challenge with me, we're going through the book of Psalms. So still join with me this November. And the next day it was talking about just how like the Lord will sustain you. And I just like that verse just stuck out to me where I was like, God, I know that this is one of the hardest seasons that I've ever been in, balancing everything, trying to support my husband in his crazy season of life too. And we're both just like running 1,000 miles per hour and just so stressed out, both overwhelmed in our own, lanes of life. And I just was like, God, like you will sustain me. And I've just found in my life that when you speak scripture over yourself and you apply it and you literally meditate on it, because the Bible says like, oh Lord, how I love your laws. I meditate on it day and night. When you speak scripture over yourself, it literally changes your mental mood. It changes the atmosphere. It changes your body. It speaks to your soul. I mean, it does something to your body. It is like living waters. It is peace. So if you ever feel anxiety or if you ever feel anxiety or you feel stressed out or you feel overwhelmed, take a beat and just say, God, you are my sustainer. Lord, you will sustain me. And I promise you, it'll just change the whole atmosphere. It'll change your mood. And I just had a moment. I mean, I'm sitting there with Duke, I'm nursing, I'm reading the Bible. And it just changed me. And I was like, God, thank you that you will sustain me and you will always sustain me. Because let me tell you, like, there's going to be more difficult seasons. There's going to be more difficult moments like that. Like, this isn't going to be the last one. Like, as a mom, you know that. And especially, I was just talking to one of my friends today. One of my friends today, she just told me she's pregnant, which I was so excited for. And we were talking about it. And I'm like, how do moms do this with multiple children? Like, I have one boy and I'm already like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I can see why people would think it's tempting just to have one and be done, because it'd be easier and you can control it and it's just one kid and it's, whatever. But like, I personally want 3 and maybe 4, who knows? But I always think, I'm like, how do moms do this? Like, I'm already sleep deprived, and maybe you have a toddler who's not sleeping very well, and then you have a newborn on top of that. And I'm just like, no wonder why moms are literally superheroes. Like, y'all are superheroes. I mean, truly. And so it's easy just with like this one baby, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I think about other moms that have 3 kids and they're all loaded up in the car and they're managing multiple calendars and schedules, and like, that's why being a mom, a stay-at-home mom, is a full-time job. And if anybody discredits that, I want to be like, ch. So I just want to say props to you if you have multiple children. If you have one child, I don't even care. Props to you, because I genuinely just think moms are the most amazing superhero people. Like, truly, I do. And I think just having one, I'm like, wow, this is so hard. You guys know I love sharing things that help you deepen your faith and know God more. And that's why I'm super excited to share with you guys Hosanna Revival's new winter collection. These are not only beautiful, but meaningful gifts that you guys can give this Christmas season. And they have amazing journals, Bibles, and devotionals and tools to help you grow closer with God. I just got their Oxford CSB note-taking Bible, and it's great for just tracking my thoughts, journaling on the side, and annotating. I absolutely love this. I love the design. I also have their Bethany notebook, as well as the Mom's One Thing I Ask prayer journal. These are just a couple of my favorites. And with the holiday season coming up, these make great gifts, not just because they're beautiful, but because they also point people back to Jesus. So you guys can check out the full winter collection at hosannarevival.com. And do not forget to use my code Janine15 to get 15% off. Take advantage of this, and you guys are going to love these. Hey friends, those first weeks and months, if I'm being honest, after having a baby are definitely a whirlwind. Between late nights, feedings, and trying to get a moment for yourself, that's the last thing you want to worry about, is whether you're getting the nutrients you need. And that's why I've been loving and leaning on Ritual. Their essential postnatal vitamin supports postpartum recovery, breastfeeding with clean, traceable ingredients like choline, folate, and omega-3, all clinically backed. I chose Ritual because I wanted something I could trust that can make me feel better and feel my best after giving birth. The postnatal vitamins are gentle on my stomach, easy to take, and I feel confident knowing I'm getting exactly what my body and my baby needs. Ritual selects bioavailable nutrients designed for optimal absorption, so your body actually uses what you take. Moms who have tried Ritual support better energy and easier recovery than any other multivitamins. It's also HSA/FSA eligible, so it's easy to get the nutrients you need while saving with pre-tax dollars. Don't settle for less than evidence-based support. My listeners get early access to their Black Friday sales for 40% off your first month at ritual.com/healthy. That's ritual.com/healthy for 40% off your first month. Don't miss out on their best sale of the season yet. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about now the breastfeeding pumping journey, because it is interesting, because everyone's just very different, and you're just trying to figure this out, and it's honestly okay, like, to be vulnerable and transparent, it's literally probably my least favorite thing out of the whole process. I know. The sleep deprivation is very hard, but to be honest, the whole pumping, feeding routine, breastfeeding, all of that, I would honestly say is the least favorite thing of my journey. And the biggest thing that you will find in motherhood is that comparison can rob you of joy. It can rob you of what your situation is. You can try to constantly look at other moms and what they're doing and not really look at what exactly works for you. And so that's been hard, because I have so many friends who were like, yeah, I'm exclusively breastfeeding. I've breastfed for, 10 months, no formula, no bottles. And I'm just like, how? You are amazing if you can do that. But at the same time, I realized that the more that I looked at what other people were doing, the less I enjoyed what I was doing. And the more that I compared and tried to match my lifestyle to someone else's, the more that I felt unhappy, dissatisfied, frustrated, because that's their lifestyle. That's not mine. Like, I have a different routine. I have people, I need help. Like, I'm also working during the day. I'm traveling still. And so I found that doing bottles was helpful for me. And I also am occasionally supplementing with formula because my supply is not that great. I've never been an oversupplier. I sometimes make just enough, so like 4 to 5 ounces. And today I pumped and I had 3 ounces, and I wanted Duke to have 5 ounces today. And so I give him 3 ounces of my breast milk, and then I supplement with 2 ounces of formula. And it's just interesting because I've been very hesitant to almost like share a lot of aspects about motherhood because I don't really, A, really want the condemnation, and I, B, don't really want the feedback because I'm simply trying to do what is best for me and my family and my life and my mental health also. And I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm just going to quit cold turkey because my mental health. Like, I really do. No shame if you do that, but like, I want to like stick it out. I want to like fight for the supply. I want to try to like give Duke my breast milk as long as much as possible. But I also found relief when I finally said, I'm going to just add the formula. I'm not going to add stress. I'm not going to like try to compare my situation to other people because there's people I know, they're like, I would never give my kid formula. It's so bad for you. And I'm like, cool. That's awesome. Like, I'm glad that you're doing that. But there are better formulas that you can look into. Like, we use BioHeart. There's also one called Serenity. Like, definitely check those out. But I just feel like there's no shame if like you need to do that. And I don't like it when other moms do that. And so, for example, I never post myself breastfeeding on my Instagram. And I always like showed that I'm bottle feeding or whatever, but I try to do a good combination. Like, I try to do half and half if possible. But if, of course, if I have Kaleb feeding him or if I have help, like, he's going to get bottles. And if I want to make sure that he's really getting fed too, I also do bottles. And, someone responded to me and just said, like, I'm not trying to shame you, but I've noticed you only ever give your son bottles. You should really try to breastfeed. It's so much better for him. And it's just like, I think things like that can just be so unhelpful to a mom to hear that when you might already be discouraged because Duke did have to take bottles from day one because he was in the NICU for almost a week. And he didn't really like breastfeeding that much. Like, he didn't latch that well. I had to get a lactation consultant. It was so full of anxiety, like anxiety ridden, if that's the word, where you're trying to feed your baby. He's underweight. He's already small. He's not latching. He didn't want to eat. I'm like worried, is he even getting enough milk? The breastfeeding journey is hard. I think it's probably, in my opinion, the hardest part about it. I'm also not very comfortable breastfeeding in public. That's just never something I've been like comfortable doing. Like, I've had a lot of mom friends and other people I know being like, oh yeah, girl, like, I just whip my boob out in public and I'm just doing it. And I'm like, not me. Like, I'm just not comfortable doing that. So it's just not helpful to a mom to tell her like, oh, you really need to start breastfeeding more. And it's like, hey, you don't know my situation and you don't know how hard I've tried and you don't know how difficult this has been. And like, it's so hard when your son isn't wanting to latch. Like, Duke would literally latch and then pull off, latch and then pull off, latch and pull off. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to feed you. I'm trying to feed you. I'm trying everything to like keep my supply up and like pumping everything hours and eating all the foods and taking the supplements. Like, I know it comes from a good place because of all the oxytocin and the bonding. And like, I love all that. Don't get me wrong. But when your son's just not a good eater like that, it's just so hard to hear when you're like, don't you think I've been trying? Like, I am trying. And so I just feel like there's so many things that people unsolicitedly, is that a word? Give unsolicited to you about parenting and motherhood that you're just like, I know, I'm trying. Please, like, don't make me feel more bad. You know what I mean? So that was something that was like, I think just like pretty hard because I was already really discouraged and it's been hard. And right now it's so funny. Like, Duke just alternates. Like, right now he prefers breastfeeding over bottles. And then there was one point where he was like nursing strike, did not want to nurse, only wanted bottles. And so it's been a journey. I don't know how long I'm going to breastfeed because, to be honest, like, I've just never really loved it that much. There's been a lot of moms that are just like, I love it and it's so great. And I don't hate it, but I wouldn't say it's my most favorite thing. Honestly, like, my favorite thing is just snuggling with him and like holding him on my chest and rocking him and going on walks with him and playing with him and him smiling. And I love seeing his milestones. Like, he started to learn how to roll over the last 2 weeks. And like, that's been my favorite part. I don't think the breastfeeding part has been my favorite. And so I'm trying to decide when I want to quit. And I don't know. I think I want to at least go past the winter cold season because I want to make sure that I'm giving him like all the antibodies and stuff that he needs. And like, obviously this is when RSV season comes around and hand and foot and mouth and all that stuff comes around. And so I want to just try to protect Duke as much as possible. But it is so much stress, more than anyone ever warned me about. Like, I heard obviously like the sleep deprivation, whatever. No one warned me about how hard the breastfeeding pumping journey would be. Like, nobody did. And I remember getting home from the hospital and texting my lactation consultant being like, what do I do? Like, I don't know this routine. I don't know this schedule. Like, when do I pump? When do I feed? How do I boost my supply? How many hours? How do I keep my pumps from, being dirty so fast? How do I sanitize them? Like, there's just so much that like you just figure out in trial and error. And like now I feel like I don't put as much pressure on myself, but that beginning stage was so beyond stressful. And I just was with a mom last night who had a baby a month ago or 3 weeks ago. And we were talking about it and she's like, it is so difficult. And I'm like, I know. And I do understand, like, that is why a lot of women just quit the breastfeeding. They quit that. They're like, we're not doing this. This is too hard, because it is really hard. And I just commend anybody that's made it over a year, because it is very difficult. And if you also decided not to do that, that's okay too. Like, I don't think we need to shame people. Now, of course, there are so many benefits to breastfeeding, and I'm not going to negate that, because you can't mimic what God created. Like, that's the thing, is like, you can give formula and there can be so many amazing benefits, but God created breast milk to have the nutrients that your baby needs. And so you can never replace and replicate what God has created. And that's mother's breast milk. And so I'm aware of that, which is why I want to hold out as long as I can. But just the anxiety and the stress of that has been very difficult. And it's been hard because I've had a lot of people be like, give me advice and like, give me your schedule and how are you doing this? And I'm like, honestly, every day we're winging it. Some days we're breastfeeding exclusively. Like the other day, I basically exclusively breastfed until bedtime. Some days we're pumping. Some days we're doing only bottles because he doesn't want a nurse. It just depends. And I think that's why I've been, hesitant to share that online, because I'm like, I don't even have a schedule. Like, I don't even have what you're looking for. Like, I'm really doing this myself and figuring it out as well. So of course, like, I try to help where I can, but that's been the hardest part personally of postpartum, is that it's just knowing that there is someone who is dependent upon you for their nutrients and for their food and for safety and all those things. I remember feeling in the very beginning, like those first 6 weeks, where I was like, I just wish Kaleb could breastfeed, because it was so hard. Like, I remember just feeling so confined and restricted to that 3-hour schedule. And that's where I will say, having a little bit of formula here and there has really freed me up. And so that's why I'm just like, I'm not going to let anyone make me feel bad for that, because it has helped me so much to occasionally supplement that. And also, Duke is very underweight. And so we did add 1 to 2 bottles in a day, because I don't know if my breast milk was enough, like rich for him, like rich and fatty for him. And so we were trying to help him gain weight. And so that's what we did. All that to say, if you are a new mom, or you're currently a mom, or you're currently in the trenches, or whatever you're going through right now, you've just got to know that you can take all the tips and look for people's advice from people that you admire, that inspire you. If you're looking for help, that's amazing. And maybe you're just like, hey, I want to crush this. I want to do as best as I can. And your intentions are pure by asking someone a question. No shame on that. But ultimately, also at the same time, you just have to do what is best for you and your family and your routine and your lifestyle and your child. Like, if you are not creating enough milk, then like you're going to have to supplement, or maybe you're an oversupplier. That's amazing. Like, I wish I had excess milk to give. Like, I literally have zero stock of milk. And a lot of people, show online, like they have this freezer and all this extra milk. And I remember feeling like, why don't I have that? Like, I don't have that. Ultimately, just do what is best for you. If it is God honoring, it works for your family, it frees up a little bit of anxiety. If you're taking care of your baby is fed, your baby is happy, and your pediatrician is like, yes, this is good, then you can do that. And now maybe you are seeing someone online that you genuinely are like, I want to do that exact thing. You can try it, but just know that you may not be able to do the exact same thing, because your baby is different. Their eating habits are different. They may have a different palate in their mouth. Your boob might be different. There's so many factors. And so try not to feel guilty and feel bad when maybe your life and your baby does not match someone you see online, or maybe even a friend. It doesn't even necessarily have to be an influencer, a friend, because that's what's so hard, is like your friend might be crushing it in one area and you're crushing it in one area. how can you just compliment each other and support each other in that? So yeah, I think that's the whole breastfeeding postpartum thing. And it's okay to feel discouraged, but know that like it does get better, it does get easier, and you're also human. You are human. You're allowed to have hard days. You're allowed to feel like overwhelmed and stressed out because it can be. And so just know that like it's okay and take that pressure off yourself. The next thing I want to talk about is your marriage changing when you have a baby, because this is something that I want to tread lightly on because I feel like people can assume like, oh, you have a bad marriage or he doesn't help or you are, whatever. There's all sorts of assumptions that come with this. But the reality is having kids can and most likely will change your marriage. Because all of a sudden, you as the mom, you have this new addition to your life and they are your everything. Like they are only able to survive by having you take care of them. And so all of a sudden, all your needs change where, maybe in the past, you were able to sit on the couch with your husband for hours and snuggle and you could cook dinner together and you are laughing and you're watching a movie and the candles are lit and it's so romantic. And all of a sudden, this baby is requiring everything. You're giving this baby all your care, all your attention, your milk, your energy. They need to go down for a bath. You need to feed them. You're washing their bottle parts. And all of a sudden, your husband somewhat will take a back burner because you've had to learn and figure out, how do I balance a baby that needs me, like literally needs me, cannot survive without me, and then also still my husband who can survive without me, but I still have to make my marriage a priority. I have to still take care of my husband too and make sure that he doesn't feel forgotten. And I'm not saying this is happening to my marriage, but I'm saying I've seen this a lot online where people have been very honest on TikTok and even like Reddit forums and stuff about how having a kid, quote unquote, ruined their marriage. And there's ways that you can prevent that and work on that, but it is just true that it can and will change your marriage because now all of a sudden you have to tend to this child. You have to give them a bath and feed them. And you're running around and you're like, okay, who's doing this and who's taking him to daycare and who's changing his diaper and who's giving him a bath and it's just so many moving parts that what used to be this maybe romantic, intimate relationship now turns into to-do lists and tasks and hobbies and roommates. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And I think it's super important if you are pregnant or maybe you're going through this right now to have those healthy conversations with your spouse beforehand or even just every day of like, hey, we still need to love each other. We need to have good conversations. We need to have date nights. We need to still be intimate if you can, still, have hard conversations, still pray for one another. Sit down, phone free and say, how was your day? And especially for me and Kaleb right now, because Kaleb is, like I said, he's going through finals. Like, I kid you not, 2 days ago, I saw Kaleb for 30 minutes. It can make me cry because it's like a really hard season. And yeah, I'm not even complaining, but being married to a law student, and I'm so unbelievably proud of him. And I completely support his decision of going to law school. It's hard when you don't see your husband as much, and it's not his fault because that's just the season that we're in. And I think that's the vulnerable piece that I want to share is like, it's just hard. It's very hard. And there's times when he's like, babe, I would love to help you as much as possible. He's like, all I can do is do a bath tonight and I'm going to have to go and study. I have a 15-page paper due. So Kaleb is amazing and he helps any chance that he can get. But it's hard when you start to kind of miss each other. And that's what we're trying to be very proactive on is like, how do we not miss each other? And so for us, that looks like, doing those date nights, like every Thursday, we like make sure we do that before bed, or actually once Duke goes to bed, we snuggle on the couch, we watch a show, we catch up. When he gets home from law school, phone's away, let's chat. How was your day? How was your day? We cook together. Like we try to make it a priority because you can look up and all of a sudden be like, when did we get here? Like, how did our marriage get so bad? Like, what do I even know you anymore? It's so easy just to let that happen. And I think you have to fight for your marriage. You have to fight for that intimacy, fight for, being romantic with each other, still doing all those things. And so it's crazy because it absolutely can change your marriage and it will, but you have to find a way to make it a new rhythm and a new pattern just for you guys. And again, this is different for everyone. Like again, my husband's in law school, so it's different for us. Like some people may have more free time, they can take trips together, they can, do more date nights or whatever, but we really aren't in a season where we can do that. I never want to talk about it in a negative way because I'm not looking at it in a negative light. I'm more looking at it in just like a reality of this is hard, but it's still good because I love my husband and I love my family and I love my son and I love being a mom. And it doesn't feel necessarily like a chore to me to like take care of my son or put him to bed or whatever if my husband can't because I love him. Like to me, like of course I want to put my son to bed. Of course I want to take care of him. Of course, like all those things because my child is not a burden to me and I love my child. And so it doesn't feel like a burden to have to do those things. It's more just like it's hard sometimes having to kind of be like the main caretaker mainly during the day. And then my husband comes home and he's exhausted also. And so he tries to fill in the gaps where he can. But then there's times where he's just like, babe, I can't help right now. Like I can't, I have to write this paper. It's due tomorrow. I have a quiz tomorrow, whatever. So that's just like the reality that we're in right now. And I've even had a lot of you guys reach out to me and just say like, hey, I understand you. My husband's in PA school. My husband's in medical school. And so a lot of you guys have just related to me in that. And we have like a very complex life right now with like this full-time social media job and running a podcast and trying to be a mom. And it's just, we're in a crazy season, as you guys know. And so I don't need to keep harping on that. But yeah, it can absolutely change your marriage, but you have to fight to not let it ruin your marriage and to still pursue each other. And so I am thankful that we've done a pretty good job about that. And we'll go on daily walks with each other and nightly walks and stuff if we can, like at least 3 times a week. We prioritize the weekends together. That is so important to us, are the weekends together, because we don't, that's like our free time. And so I just want to encourage you, like, you as a mom too, it's easy just to be like, take care of yourself, husband. Like, I'm busy. I have the baby. You figure that out. But your husband still needs you too. Your husband still needs affection and also attention. And I think that's where marriages can go wrong, is that the husband feels so neglected by the wife. And obviously I get it. Like, she's mentally drained. She's taking care of the baby. And also the husband needs to help as much as he can to help take her mental load off and to cook for her and take care of her. Like, if she's going to take care of the baby, he needs to be taking care of her. And that's what I think is going to help a lot, that system, because, if the wife is drained and she's giving everything to this baby when she doesn't even have energy for herself, she's going to have nothing to give her husband. That's why, like, the husband still has to pour into her and then she has to pour into her kid, and they all have to flow together. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. So anyway, that's also been just something that's been really hard trying to figure out. And we are 5 months into this, so it's so much easier now. I love it now. We do, I feel like, have a good routine. Absolutely. I think once I can get a little bit more help again during the week, like right now I said I don't have help right now, but I will get help here soon probably. I'll probably feel a little bit more just like, okay, a little bit more sane again. And I think that's something too that's, not talked about enough, is that, like, I do think like moms deserve a little bit of time away. And I think there are people like want to shame you for that and be like, no, this is your kid, you should raise them. And of course, I agree, but I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to put your kid in like mom's day out, like 2 times a week, or having your mother-in-law watch them, or the baby's grandma or whomever. Like, just because I think as a mom, like you give so much to your child. Like, again, my nails aren't done, need to get them done. I need to get my hair trimmed. Like, you give so much that you completely neglect yourself. And I think part of this postpartum journey is still taking care of yourself, like finding out where can you work out, where can you invest money that also takes care of you. Like for me, it was worth buying a gym membership that also can take care of Duke at the same time, so that I can have an hour and a half to myself, because that's hard to come by right now, And so there's parts of it where, like, you've got to prioritize yourself too, because then your baby gets the worst of you, your husband gets the worst of you, and you get the worst of you, and you deserve the best of you. Your kids deserve the best of you. Your husband deserves the best of you. And so whatever that looks like, figure that out. Like, you deserve a mom's day out, or grandma coming once a week, or just hiring a sitter for 3 hours. Like, whatever you got to do, you deserve that, because otherwise, like, you don't have time for yourself. I've finally realized, I'm like, wow, I see why moms are like, I have no time, because it's kind of true. Like, you really don't. And so don't feel guilty for needing some help here and there. And I think there's a lot of people that shame people for this, where they're like, You're the parent. You need to raise them. I'm like, of course, I know I am raising my child, but it's okay to need a break. Don't feel shame for that. Don't feel bad for that. Because for me, that's what I have found has brought me back to some sanity is being able to work out, get my hair done, to get my makeup done, or like do my makeup, shower a little bit, like having someone come once a week to kind of like help the house be more manageable and survivable because otherwise everything does go to shambles. And I'm also not just a stay-at-home mom, I'm like a working mom too. So it's hard for me to balance everything at once. And so ultimately, like my goal of this podcast is if your baby is okay, and if you can take care of your baby safely and you can say your baby is being raised well and you're doing it according to God's plan and you've prayed about it and you and your husband are in alliance and you're not doing anything like inherently sinful or neglectful to your child, like you've got to do what you got to do and don't feel shame about that. So yeah, I think that's another thought on just like that whole thing. I just lastly want to say that if you're in the trenches right now and you feel like there's no hope, or maybe you're where I am, or you have still the 5-month-old baby, the 6-month-old baby, I want to validate you that this is so hard. And that's why I'm saying moms are absolute heroes. Motherhood is one of the most amazing things that I have ever done. And again, I could cry thinking about it because when I look at my son and I just see his, oh my gosh, are these hormones? I don't know. When I see my son and I look at his sweet little innocent face and I just see him growing and he has his 2 little teeth poking through and he's hitting these milestones and I take him on walks and I just love the way he like knows it's me when he sees me, like he smiles and lights up when I walk in the room and um it is the most amazing thing you could ever do. And I don't want you guys to leave this podcast and hear me complain for 46 minutes straight. I think that's how long I've been filming. Because that's not the goal. The goal is to be vulnerable and to share what's going on, but also to let you know that I see why God says children are a blessing because they absolutely are a blessing. Duke has blessed my life. He has made me less selfish. He has made me not care about things as much, maybe my appearance as much. He's humbled me in so many ways. I have made so many cool friends because of being a mom. I have bonded with other friends because of being a mom. I have met cool people because of it. It's like this amazing new world that I have access to that I never understood before. And it's all of a sudden like I'm in this like secret society club where I've joined it and I'm like, wow, like I get you guys, like we get each other. And it's like no one will love your baby the way that you and your husband do. Like Duke, I cannot be replaced in Duke's life. Yes, you can have help 3 times a week or a grandma or whatever, but it's like the craziest feeling knowing that like nobody can replace my role as a mom to Duke. And that just warms my heart because I'm like, there's only one of me and I want to be the best me for him possible. And there's just no replaceable feeling. Like nothing compares to the feeling of walking into his nursery and waking him up from his nap and him looking at me just smiling like, oh my gosh, like I want to be like, I want to go see him right now. Also the feeling of when they're napping and you're like, oh my gosh, I miss them. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, I get me time. But then you're like, but I miss my baby. And just watching them like learn all these new things, like him grabbing his bottle now and holding his bottle by himself. I'm like, when did you get so big? And when his 2 little teeth poked through, I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just the most amazing thing. And I see why God says it's a blessing because it just refines you. It purifies you. And it's only going to do that more. The more kids you add, the more fun it's going to be. And I think if you can let go of any perfectionism or expectations or this needs to be perfect, it needs to look like this girl, my house needs to look like this, let that go. Like do the best that you can do. And obviously like have your needs and priorities and things that you want. Like for me, I really realize I need a clean house for me to feel sane. It's not always clean. And I've learned to like let that go a little bit. But occasionally I'm like, okay, let's try to work on having the house clean. I need that to be sane, honestly. But it's crazy where it's helped me to be less of a control freak, a clean freak. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, the bed's not going to be made today. The dishes are not going to be done immediately. My child needs me and I need him. And learning to let that go. And it's just the most sacrificial, beautiful thing that I've ever done in my life. And it's so weird because all of a sudden now, like I lived for myself for 30 years of my life and now I can't live for myself. I have a baby needing me. And of course I can do things still for myself and care about myself. But ultimately, like my child has to be my priority. And it's just the most insane thing because all the things that you used to care about. Maybe you wanted to be super ambitious before, you wanted to be a girl boss, you wanted to travel the world, like all great things. It's weird how like suddenly you just don't care. Like I realize there's certain things and goals I had in my life that I'm like, yeah, that can be pushed back. Like that's not a priority to me right now. It used to be, but it's just not anymore. Or the things I used to buy or things I used to do. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about that as much anymore. It's just interesting how it changes your priorities and your perspectives, and that's okay. And it probably should, because you have a child and it's going to change your life, and it should change your life. It should change your life for the better and hopefully make you better. And it's going to test your patience. It's going to test your multitasking abilities. It's going to test your, your mouth and your tongue and what you believe and how you pray of your child and what comes out of your mouth out of frustration and all those moments. Like it's going to test you. And that's good because the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so you want to be careful what flows out when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're tired, and filling still your home with worship. Every single morning, I put worship on for me and Duke. I sing over him. I pray over him before his bedtime every single night. I read Bible stories to him. I declare over him all the time, like, Lord, I pray that this child will be yours, that he will serve you all the days of his life. I'm already, reading him the Bible, already praying over him. Fight for your children now because the enemy is sneaky and tactful and he wants to steal, kill, and destroy your children. So fight for them now. Fight for them in the womb. Fight for them before you have children, and pray that any generational curses that might be on your lineage or your family would break off with you and your child in the name of Jesus. That could be pornography. That could be alcohol. That could be drugs. That could be abuse. That could be divorce. That could be hoarding. Whatever might be in your family, pray that it would break off your child in the name of Jesus, that you and your child are the ones who end that generational curse now, because it is real. The enemy wants to repeat cycles and patterns in you and your child, and you'll see that. Maybe you look at your own life and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming my parent. I never wanted to become my parent. Work on that right now. Before your child starts to adopt the things that you're doing and look at your life, work on that now. Become the best, healthiest, godliest version of yourself for you and your child and for your children's and your children's children, because it starts with you. I promise you. And so really fight for that because it is worth it. And so we always look at each other and we're like, how do we break that? How do we stop that? And it's intentionality. It's prayer with your spouse. And it's also constantly pleading the blood of Jesus and anointing your child and praying over them and binding anything in your home, in your life, and on your child and on your child's life. And do that every single day. There are so many things in my life that I am the way I am and my family is the way they are because of a praying mother, and that's my mom. My mom is a praying mother. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Be that praying mother for your family, because I promise you, if you're not interceding for your family, no one will. No one's praying for your family. You've got to be the praying rock for your family, and it will make a difference. There are so many things in your family, and probably that your grandma did or whatever. Like Kaleb's grandma is the most godly woman I've ever met in my life. She's literally amazing. Grandma Jean, shout out to you. I love you. Because of her, she has a healthy family because she was the one that said, it ends with me. Be that for your family and be bold and honest with yourself and say, what is that in my family that I don't want to repeat? It could be lying. It could be stealing. It could be deception. I mean, whatever it is, the enemy is sneaky. Break that off your family. And that's where I'm going to conclude. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I had fun in today's episode. I want to do more like this. Please let me know what you guys think. I loved hearing the feedback from you guys on my Instagram. You guys said you wanted more Bible chats, more talking about scripture, less TikTok reaction videos. You got it. I love hearing your feedback. I'm glad you guys do enjoy some of those, and I will occasionally do them, but I'll do more biblically based ones here soon. You guys also want more guests, working on that. I'm going to try to go to Dallas here soon and line up some guests. So I love you guys. You guys rock. You're the best. I will see you guys next week for another episode of Happy and Healthy. But until then, stay happy and healthy. You guys are the best. Bye.